All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is Wednesday, August the 3rd, 2016. And the title of tonight's webinar is 5 Safe Trades with Lightning and Power Meter, Part 2. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading rooms, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar, other webinars we might have, our live trading rooms, or anything else with Viper Trading Systems should ever be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? All right, if not, we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, first of all, you're going to see a nice blank screen. And what I want to show you first off is just a little bit of simplicity at looking at these swings, because what we're going to talk about tonight is KISS trades. And KISS trades come in my personal opinion, they come in about 4 flavors that you can really watch for. A really minor type of swings, a little bit more secondary, more of a medium swing, and then your larger term swings. Okay, let me show you on this chart right here. I've had a lot of people ask me this, what is the difference in the swings? Well, obviously, if you were looking at something like this, let's say that it shot up like this, and then it pulled back, well, let's say it did about a 50% retracement, something like that. All right, they're never exact. All right, this is actually more of a medium type, because what you would be looking for, let's say it did this, obviously, then you would simply draw a line, and your trade is going to be somewhere right in through that area right there, okay? And I think that's really important to look for, because you're going to find this over and over and over. See if we can get that a little bit brighter. That's good enough. All right, everybody see that? So obviously, if you walked in the room and you saw this happening, and you're going to get numbers showing up on these charts and everything, you're looking for this. It's not going to do it exactly like this, because then you've got your minor trend, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But this is actually what your medium trend is pretty much doing, okay? They may not come exactly. That might even miss it by, 3 or 4 ticks. That's the beauty of stops. Might be something like that, but it still falls in this same little area like that, right? It may even go a little bit below, like so, and then bounce, okay? Because it's checking that swing. Now, if you were looking at a chart though, and let's pretend this is actually a smaller swing than it really is, because this is more of a medium swing. But obviously, if you were trading medium swings, where would you put your stop? You'd obviously put it right underneath there, right? Okay, now keep in mind, we're not talking about this large of swings, but this is the same thing that you're doing with the smaller swings. Okay, you're doing exactly the same thing. This is your medium swings, okay? Of course, even larger ones, let's just look at this, and that's also a larger swing. I mean, these are obviously some 30, 40 tick pullbacks and an 80 tick run, right? But then you've got these little bitty, where it just goes up, just pulls back a little bit, like so, and then it goes up, and but it does virtually the same thing. Okay, if it comes down like, say, here, why did that not? Must be something in the way of that. There we go. Whatever it was, gone now. All right. So what you're looking for, even on these little bitty moves like this for these KISS trades, is you would not want to take out that swing. Okay. You would want a higher low if this was actually getting higher highs and higher lows. So you would actually want this trade right here. Where it comes down, doesn't take this out, maybe comes a little lower than this, and then they take off again. Okay? That's what you're looking for. No matter what swings you're looking at, you're really looking at the same thing. You're just looking on a larger scale on medium swings, and you're looking at these little micro on the micro swings. And that's why I personally like to use my stops based on lightning, Because if you end up doing that, now if they're really close together, let's say for instance that this is your identified swing. Well, since this one's really close, I would lag it back. Okay, simply because if this came back like this, you'd expect it to kind of hit its head on top of here, but if it didn't, then of course it would obviously try to give you a higher low than here and head up, or it would wick this, which would actually still keep you in the trade if it did something like that and then took off again. Everybody see that? Okay, and I'm going to show you some real swings in just a minute. These are just hand drawn so you can see them. Does anybody have a question on that though? Because regardless what you're looking at on charts, you're seeing this exact same thing. Large swings and little bitty tiny swings. Okay, they're not going to be perfectly set on your chart like this, obviously. Now your bigger swings will, because they're counting from these like 12 range 5 strength or 4 range 15 strength. Let me just show you what they look like. And I'm going to go ahead and stay in teaching mode with the webinar type just to show you what we have. All right, this is an actual chart that's live. There's actual data on it. Okay, and looking at the same swings that we talked about just a minute ago. Okay, you can simply draw them with your lightning control key. Okay, that's your lightning control key right there. All right, that's your lightning 3. Now that's pretty much telling us that at this particular moment, this is actually a downtrend. But now let's go ahead and look at the lightning 1 or even 2 and see what we've got. See if we can get something here. Okay, now that's what we've got right now. In other words, our prices have already done this. They've taken out resistance right here. They've even taken out this 84 here. So this pretty much tells you you're in a little bit of an uptrend, doesn't it? So we're looking for a pullback. Now looking at this chart, where do you think the pullback is? Because these KISS trades are going to really make a difference in your trading. You can get some really good trades. I'll show you some areas that I would look for. First, I start looking at my swings to see if they actually hit some of these larger swings. And you can kind of draw a line in your mind or on the chart, no swing. No swings. See it? No swings. There's a swing, 61. Okay, here's another swing at 58. All right, it's already tagged this 61 right here. It hasn't tagged 58, so I'd probably draw another line at this one, because that is actually one of those a priori swings we talk about that is based on a 4 range 15 swing chart. So I personally feel that this trade is going to be somewhere right in this area right here. Okay, and I would set my tools up accordingly. Okay, does everybody see why I see that like that KISS trade? Because like I say, those KISS trades will make a difference. Now, the newest lightning that we developed and designed is it's not going to give you, for instance, if you had a green here and you had a green here, it's not going to draw it. If it's got a green here and a yellow here, it should draw it, but only if it takes out the swing. So in other words, it didn't, so it actually did it here. It took out the swing here, so that's basically drew this dot here. That's why it skipped these 2 right here. But they are still important areas to draw on your chart. Now it's already been down here, so I don't feel that they're going to come that low. Everybody see why I don't? Because they've already thrust up, retraced, thrusted up. That's your identified lightning swing. Okay. Any questions thus far? What would you accept as an overshoot on one of these pullbacks to a KISS point? Well, Kenneth, what I like on those is those predictors. They're really good. Matter of fact, let's put predictor on the chart and see where it might be. We got a predictor right here. We got one right here. We don't have one anywhere in here yet. Okay. But we've drawn on our chart and we know that it's already checked here. It has not checked here. We'll probably have a midband somewhere around in here too. You know, we could put it on the chart, but let's just look at the real chart and see if we can actually get a trade based on this particular look. And I can go ahead actually and just put the template on it, and it'll leave my lines on and everything. It will do away with lightning. See what it looks like. All right, so we got our lines drawn on our chart. Here's our predictor right here, right at this very moment. I always like to get an ABC. You'll find yourself really getting into some good trades if you'll wait for this type of look on pullbacks. You need a thrust, you need a retrace, and then you need to break this at least some, which would be an ABC. Everybody see that? These type trades like this, let me just show you something here. I'll get this out of the way. This type of trade right here you got to be really careful of, because let's say you were watching it in real time. It only did an A and you had a bar pop to the upside, so you box it in, right? You know, we talk about boxing it in. Now at the open, I'm not as against this as this. But when it hadn't done an ABC, you usually get this, where they barely break out of the box. See where our box is? You would have gotten filled. And then what does it do? We're right here right now. And your stop would be under here, wouldn't it? But see, it hadn't done an ABC yet. Okay? So be careful when they don't. Let me show you some that obviously do. See, here's one right here, like a little double top, ABC. Hits an ellipse, gets you a trade. This little trade here, let's see, A, B, actually all the way down into here before it actually turned, right? And you box it in. And you probably would have gotten it up through there. That was probably more like a Gartley even right there. All right, so we kind of see by looking at our swings that are important. And remember, the swings that are important are the ones that actually print with these numbers, because the numbers are looking at least 15 bars of playing around. That's what it really amounts to. It's 15 strength. You know, here's a bar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, and we haven't had actually 15 just yet. Okay, and you'll see a number actually show up when it does. Okay, but we're looking for a pullback into this area right in through here. That's where I'd be looking for it. Okay, does everybody see why we're doing that, right? Because it's important to watch for those numbered pullbacks. Now I'm going to show you when you get what I call real estate on the left side, you're okay to get these little pullbacks. But when they're in, you know, sideways like this, what you're really looking at on the pullbacks where you want to get in, let's say for instance that this wasn't over here and this had shot up, pull back, shot up, pull back, it pulled back right into there, didn't it? Okay, shoots up again, pulls back pretty much into there, but you get a higher low. Okay, now they haven't checked this top right here either, but they actually took it out a little bit already. So I would expect them to come down in this area here or even here. Okay, because I'm looking at my numbers on my chart. They haven't checked this 61 area and they haven't checked 58. Okay, let's see, so is 60 a midline kiss, 330-ish. Now one thing you can also do, keep in mind, is once you get this ABC, which you really want, either that or let it do a little retrace and then pull back, and then, you know, this is too big of a box actually, isn't it? Now if this was to break above here, you could probably take it because you would more than likely get up here. That is a 10-tick trade. So I would probably box that in, but that's not my favorite box. And since it hadn't done an ABC, I'm not real happy with it. Okay, let's put it on the chart and see if we can get it. We're going to look at several kiss trades tonight, even if we don't get through anything else tonight but kiss trades. See if we can get something here. And I like these predictors real well. And one thing you got to really be careful too is when a trend changes just right away, that's when they try to do a little bit more faking. Let's see, is it not the CD leg off of 60? Well, let's see. Basically, if you look at your other chart that I had, let's look at it real quick. Not this one, it was the other one. Oh, we already changed it, didn't we? Well, I can actually change this again. We'll just change this to the webinar template, and we'll see those same numbers. And we'll look at it from down here. See, that's where the price is at pretty much right now. So let's see, was that on TF just a second? No, that's on oil. Sorry about that. Let's get this on oil. I had a TF chart too. Okay, get rid of the predictor. Draw our little last ditch part here. And what I always like to look at is where they haven't been yet. So, you know, if you draw on these lines, you're going to find that they're pretty good. I wouldn't expect them to hit this one for a while because it's going to have to take it out, pull back and kiss it, and then take off. So this wouldn't count to me because, see, they're just kissing that area right now. Okay? So I look down here. You know, anytime you get a thrust, you got to get a pullback. So I would look here, and I would look, since this is a what I call those a priori type swings on a 15 swing strength, I'd still count that one too. But I'll just about bet you it bounces right about in through here, maybe wicks it just a little bit and then takes off, because that's what they usually do. And you get to also see mid-band. This is a mid-band trade, by the way. Now, one thing about boxing and actually, you know, getting some of these trades, one thing that I don't personally like about, you know, the little box is a lot of times they just take them out and then they'll pull back some. So if you happen to get something like that and they don't go ahead and come up to like a resistance area and give you some coin, you want to get at them fairly quick, because I still don't see a ABC yet. See, it still hadn't taken this swing out right across here. Even if it just wicks it, that would still be considered an ABC. Okay, here we go. We might be getting it. Got to put old OT on the screen. See that predictor right there? Now that's pretty close to my 58 to 61, isn't it? Didn't quite get there just yet. Now once they've done like an ABC like that, and also look at your fib numbers too, because that's pretty important. You know, and you can use our auto fibs if you want to. I don't usually use them in the room, but see, here's a 61% retracement too. And that's usually what they do on these, you know, say 50 tick moves or so. They'll pull back around the anywhere from 50 to 61%. On the larger moves, they'll pull back to 38. Could you have taken a short at the box for the sea lake? Well, you could, but you got to be really careful with that, because, you know, for instance, what if you box this like so, all right, and you took it on a closed bar like that right there? Well, that's where it slated to bounce and possibly off this 61%. This is a trend change. You know, it definitely did change to green and blue. So I'd be looking for this trade right down here, and more than likely at the 61% or at my line, because I've got my swings drop. See, my swings at 61 and my swings at 58. The better short would have been at 39.85 area as I see it. Well, yeah, as a matter of fact, Kenneth, on your question, you can short these, and if y'all want, I'll do a webinar like next week. And if you want to short this, this would actually would have been green, 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 green. Gets up here, it would have probably either turned red here, or if it didn't, because it didn't close above that, obviously it wouldn't turn red till it got way down there, and then I wouldn't take it. But yeah, you could box that in and short that. But keep in mind that sometimes they'll just barely close outside them, give you a higher low, and then still pop up. So what I do if I take something like that where it's actually got a lightning area, is if it pops down below that box, I don't let it go back in it. We may get this trade in a minute. Now, when you look at a trend change, you're looking at first time in the mid band after a trend change, but try to get in the habit of watching for those ABCs at least. Because I've seen this 1,000 times where they'll do that huge pullback down right in the mid band, then they'll fake somebody in, and then they'll pull down a little bit further doing their ABC. That's a Gartley, by the way. A little bit deeper. It's right on our predictor. We wouldn't want to be shorting this unless we had shorted it way up here, which you can do. And by the way, when they make these, like this thrust retrace, if we get along and you get up here, there's a lot of our traders that are actually starting to short these tops. Now this would be considered what I would be considering a kiss trade, because it's trying to kiss this swing or this swing, 58 to 61. Yeah, trendline break for shorts is also real good. And if y'all want, like I say, we'll talk about some counter trend trades next week if you want, but we may not get through with all of the FiveSafe trades, obviously. But we call these in the room. Now this one we didn't, obviously, because it was 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm not even up this time of day. But you can tell what it's trying to do. Still an uptrend. Now if this breaks down, what are we going to do? Well, we're looking for a thrust, a retrace into resistance where it broke down, and a rollover. Okay? Or it's going to bounce, and I sure picked a slower time of day. I'll kick it up to about 6 times. See if we can get us a trade. How many of you use our fibs? I'm probably going to go into that fib script with my programmer and go ahead and activate the extensions and stuff like that, because we've got them in there. We just, kept it more simplistic. You can get it about as complex as we want it. I've got the script in there. We just got to go in there. Okay, well, we're in our trade. Okay, till I get a scalp, I've got to at least, I'd like to at least take out this resistance before I move this stop, because my resistance would obviously be, is it going to roll over here? And if it does, then if it doesn't take out the resistance, I will go ahead and peg this up here fairly quickly and put it on exit on close. See, do you always do a bar close or simply buy at the predictor? Well, MG, on your question, the only thing about simply buying at the predictor is this little trade that didn't work right here. Okay, first time in the mid band after a trend change. Now, what I like to personally see, and we've talked about this before too, is the second bite at the apple. There's a lot of traders that'll go ahead and buy mid band. And by the way, your safest trade on mid band is for it to at least touch mid band or lower on a long, and vice versa on a short. So if you would have bought it like right here at the mid band, would you have held it? That's the thing, it just depends on how people are. I like to look at fib numbers too. Yeah, we can get that, Diane. That's in the script. I've just got to actually turn it on. We just kept it pretty straightforward. See if I'm missing any questions. Let's see. Okay, well, it looks like we got us a trade, doesn't it? Let's see if we can get, gosh, I can't move my cursor. Where did it go? Before it gets up there, nope, too late. Couldn't move it. My cursor wasn't anywhere on the screen where I was looking at. So what could I actually do in a case like this? Well, this is actually trying to head up. So let's see if we can box it in. I'll get rid of all the lines, and we'll see if we can box this in. Trying to get up to there, right? Now this is going to be too late. That's coming across here. If you're going to take this one like this one right here, I'd probably go ahead and buy it the second it closes above that swing right there. You want to try it? Now I would have moved my target before, but let's say you walked in your room and you saw this resistance sitting here like this. You know, would that be a decent trade? Well, that's lightning, thrust, retrace, thrust. So if we break lightning to the upside, that's what we call our secondary lightning. Power meters are all green. But I'll tell you what, if this doesn't just literally head up, I would not let it, in other words, if it pops above this line and closes, I would not let them come back in this area right here. I'd give them maybe 6 ticks. See if we can get a slow trade. We got one. Ride our runner. And what I personally like to do, I don't like these major pullbacks. I like lightning. I mean, you see me all the time. You get some really good trades, obviously, if you wait for a mid-band pullback. But do you realize from 94 to mid-band is a full $250 on crude per contract? So watch and see if we can't get out of it. Let's just move these out of the way and just see if we can't get out with lightning. There's where we're shooting for. We'll probably get an ellipse show up any moment. You can bring your stop up closer to break even by now. And let's just watch and see if we can draw any kind of little box. Maybe it'll just go on up. We'll just get this target out of the way. Now see, I don't like that right there because they just barely hit that high right there. So what you can actually do, you can even do this with region. Say if it breaks that little swing area right there with the close of a bar. You could just go ahead and get out of the trade. See how it's double topping right there? And there we go, got out of it. Now that's one of those areas that I kind of like, Kenneth, like you do, because when they hit those double tops like that, what are they going to do? Well, if you're going to get a higher low and head up more, then obviously this swing down here is going to hold. They haven't checked this area right here just yet. Let's see if we got any numbers there. And we do have a predictor right here. Okay, so let's see if we can get another trade. I would like to see them pull back all the way into here because they haven't checked it yet. See how it just went straight up? And they haven't checked this little swing right here too. See it, thrust, retrace, did all that, didn't really check it. Came down below it, checked this little area. So they'll probably check here. Check here or here. For little kiss trades. How many of you do actually short them when they get up here with these double tops? Do you let it just like make a few bars and then short it? Because I'll tell you what, a lot of times those things will really do a good job of getting you 10 ticks. They really will. Now let me show you how to do a kiss trade. If we can get one set up, I'll see if we can get a minor kiss trade set up. We're not going to box this in. I want to show you if we can get a kiss trade. That's a good area right there. I'd probably jump on that. But we're not. We're going to wait for a kiss trade. I'll show you what I'm talking about when I talk about kiss trades in the room. That's tempting, isn't it? We'll skip it. I'll bet you $100 bill it'll work. But see, it's already working. But let's see if we can get a kiss trade. I'm teaching kiss trades tonight. Where do you think our kiss trade would probably be? On top of 79? You know, instead of taking a little breakout, sometimes you can actually, instead of taking the breakout, wait for it to thrust up, pull back. See if we can get a little kiss trade. Almost kiss. That's a kiss. I'd buy that. And my stop would be just right under here. Everybody see why I bought that? Because it thrust up, it pulled back, and it kissed it. And it's wicking it. Looks like it's going to work. Those little kiss trades are not too shabby. Okay? And the best ones that will work out is when these numbers show up. Just one sec. Let me see. I thought some questions came in. A lightning kiss, absolutely. And if you draw that lightning on that chart, you'll see the lightning. Why in the world is my cursor going nuts tonight? All right, let's see here. Let's go ahead and draw lightning. All right, just like we talked about earlier, thrust, retrace, thrust. Okay, let's stop this for a second. I'm going to diagnose this. Did this do exactly what we talked about just a few minutes ago? Let's get rid of all lines on the chart, and I'll show you what it did. We'll even kill the trade. We don't care. All right, so you had a thrust, a retrace, a thrust, retrace, right? You had a little double top up here. And what they're doing here is you've got a swing right under here that's identified. See the thrust, retrace, thrust, retracing. Never took it out. Okay? So where do you think that more than likely a trade like that would do? It bounced right between these two areas. And this is the key to trading this, because it's not going to hit it exactly. Okay? So when you draw in your mind's eye, you know that it can't take this out because that's your micro trend. All right, so it comes back. All right, can't take this out or we're not heading up anymore. So that's why I grabbed that trade right there, because it didn't take this out and it's hovering right around here. So what happened? Got you a nice little trade. Okay, those kiss trades are good. Now let me show you some other ways to look for kiss trades too. What if this is almost over? And let's say we don't go ahead and take this out and just literally just head up. It's looking pretty sideways to me. So I would diagnose this two different ways. You want to talk about a kiss trade that's on a larger scale. Okay, we'll talk about that. All right, if this, let's say you weren't in this trade at all, I would expect to break here, come back and kiss and take off, or I would expect it to break here, because this is the range it's in, and come back and kiss. So let's see which one it does. Something like that. Something like that. That would be kissing where it breaks down, and then a continuation move, right? And then this would be if it does this above it. Thrust, kiss. And the kiss could be anywhere. Let's say that this broke up right here. Let me draw a little line and show you what it could do. Let's say this broke up like this. Well, then you know this is your identified swing, and this is your secondary. So if they're going to head up, they can't take that out. So where I would be looking for a trade, if they thrust it up, they'd be breaking this. So this would be your identified swing. See, if it took this out here, and then you'd be looking for a trade somewhere like that, and then break back up. Okay? That's if it takes that top out. That's what you're looking for. When you break above, that's why I don't like little breakout trades too much, except at the open, because when you break out of a little micro trend or anything, they always, 90% of the time anyway, they come back and they kiss. Okay? So let's see what we get here. I'm thinking right now that this is actually still looking like a pretty good trade because it's kissing on top of this little swing right here. And I would probably more than likely try this and get up here if I could. Let's see if we can get that one. See, we've got a swing right across here. Got a swing right down here. Can't take out this swing to head up. Yep, already bounced off of it too late. See, it's already breaking the little swing. If you get in like now, you'd probably want to just do something like this. Put all your eggs in, literally just taking the top. The reason for that is because it's pretty sideways to begin with, and then you can try to get, especially if you get in late. See where we're trying to get in down here and it bounced on us. So we got him way up here. That's too late in my opinion, but we do have a 10-tick trade, very possibly. Our stop would have to literally be under there. Exit on close. Okay? Let's see, those kiss trades would be even better if we had the ability to reverse at targets like we can sift. Well, actually, Diane, you can, because you could use sniper and you can reverse at targets. You know, to give you an example, let's say that you took a kiss trade. I think I see what you're getting at, though, because if the price is above a sniper line, then the bottom one won't print. That was one of the issues I had with the programmer also. I would like to actually be able to just click on the line and say, these are my sniper lines. You're right. And I could actually work on getting that done, because that's what I also wanted to. I'll show you what Diane's talking about here. Let me get rid of, we don't care about this trade. What Diane's talking about is if, let's say she took a kiss trade, like right here where we diagnosed this one where it bounced, and if it did go ahead and take it out, what she's talking about is like, let's say that you kiss this long here, but if you draw another sniper line, like say, let's see, if you took out even support or something like that, where you could actually short it instead, you can't really do that with sniper. Like if I turn on sniper right now, it's only going to activate that line. It's not activating that one. Now, when we get the ray sniper done, it will do that, because we'll be able to draw a ray at an angle or whatever we want to do, and it'll just go with 2 lines at a time. That way you can draw triangles, you can draw lines, and it'll only be those 2 that will be active, and you won't be worrying about, you know, you have to have a line like this on sniper now. You have to have one with the prices above it and one with the prices below it, or just one at a time. Okay? Let's see, you can do that by setting the target there with reverse on stop. You can do that too, yes. But what Diane was talking about more than that was, you know, being able to like reverse on even a sniper, like even if we did like a trend line, to give an example, which you've got that ability with Object Trader now, but I don't like the ray, the way it's set up, because it's just a ray or a ray channel, you know, the way we designed it. You know, for instance, if you had something like this, that's a ray channel, right? And you can move it around and all that kind of stuff. But you can't do the beautiful things with it, which is like, let's say that you just wanted to short if it took out this trend line, and maybe you wanted to go long if it took out, you know, say that trend line or something like that. You see what I mean? You'd be able to do that if we design the ray like that. Let's see, Greg says, do you ever have a losing? Well, actually, yeah, we have, we call some losing trades, absolutely. In the room, I'd say on an average day, we'll probably hit 2, you know, sometimes 3, it just depends on the day. And we'll call them. I mean, if I hit a losing trade, I'll tell you. Absolutely. Because there's nobody in the world that cannot have losing trades. But if you learn to really read your charts, you're going to find out you're going to have a whole lot less of them. Today, I don't think we did. I don't remember having a losing trade call today. Let's see here. What Ken's talking about By the way, if you were in a trade, let's say for instance, let's go ahead and take a trade just for the fun of it. What Ken's talking about is if you set your stop as a reverse. Let's see if we can get a little reverse. We'll see if we can take out this top and then do a lightning reverse for the fun of it. Lightning is right here right now, so you could set that on reverse, right? We'll get a target out of the way, so we're going to try to get a reversal at this top to show what Kenneth is talking about. Now, I chased that trade, by the way. You don't normally do that, obviously, because we're right at the top. What I'm trying to show you is that you can actually use the reverse at, which is a reverse at stop. You can also use exit on close, which means it would have to exit on close below and reverse. So see where that pink line is right there, that magenta? This would have to actually, if you turn this on, would have to actually close below that line for it to ever flip. If you just simply turn it on, if it touches that line, it will flip the trade. You use that quite a bit, Kenneth? Like, you know, as a stop. To give an example, when we give a stop in the room, you know, a good hard stop, and talk about where we're going to get back in, lots of times you can take that as a reversal trade. Let's see if we can get a little box set up. We'll look for lightning. Right now, lightning is right here. I don't like that as much, but if we get a little consolidation like here, and we get a little lightning, we'll move that. Kind of like that. See the reversal bar? This is probably a little risky, but that is a lightning swing. See it? Okay, we're in 3 and we're reversed. See how easy that works right there? So it will definitely reverse it. Now, if we had done the reverse on exit on close, it probably would just now be reversing it because that bar closed below it. See the, you know, where we got in, if that's where our exit on close was. That actually works too, by the way. There's times where you can actually get some pretty good reversal trades. You know, when you look at these long moves down, you know they're going to retrace the mid band, to give an example. And you can get some of these. By the way, that's working out pretty good, isn't it? I'd probably put this down somewhere around in here. And if it breaks that, that's your high, your low, and your much higher high. So if it breaks this, we could even head down some. But we could also get ready to flip it too, because it's still a long trend so far. Now, what I like to look for personally when I'm trading is I like to look for these areas where you can see some good sized swings and kisses, because kiss type trades make a pretty good difference in your trading. Now, naturally, we'd go ahead and bring our stop, obviously, like on top of that swing right now. This is a counter trend, but it basically did it simply because of the lightning, and it actually did roll over and it took out support. Okay, we could get ready to flip it again if it takes out lightning. Right now, lightning's right there. I wouldn't like that, but we'll see if it'll form another lightning. If it closes below here, your lightning will be right here. It's good enough. Let's see, is the KISS trade one of the 5 safest trades? You know, I believe so, Greg, because I like a KISS trade because, you know, not so much the minor ones, though. The minor one, you really only want to take when you get a thrust up, for instance, on a long, and you pull back exactly into a minor support area. And then if they don't hold, then you get out of it pretty quickly. I like it when it's got some movement. In other words, you didn't just double top or triple top. See, if you look at this right here, all they did is took that out by 7 or 8 ticks. So what have we talked about in webinars before? When they do that, where you just barely take out those tops, they're going to come down and at least check here, right? And if they break that, they're more than likely going to head down. See, they're breaking it right as we speak. Resistance is right across here right now. So I probably wouldn't take this long again unless they do a little box of some kind where we can actually get in this trade long with lightning. Want to try a reversal? We've got to get a little lightning first. It's got to pull back down. That's like boxing it in. We're at a phantom right now, so we could get a little retrace. Phantom line 2 anyway. Make a lower though. If it does, we'll get another lightning. Yeah, it's going lower. So lightning's right here right now. Let's get this out of the way. Well, we've got a reversal now. Okay, we got a background that reversed. We haven't changed our midband just yet. You want to reverse it on lightning just to see if it works? There's lightning right there. See the micro lightning? We'll just go for like a few ticks, since that would be counter trend now, obviously. That's our lightning swing. Now, where's our KISS trade on this chart, everybody? Right here. Always look to the left to trade the right. I want to show you something that happens all the time on charts too. All right, this is what we call your micro swing right here. Okay, this is your secondary swing. This is actually an a priori lightning type swing. So more than likely they're going to hit their head right around there. And always look to the left to trade the right. They shouldn't take out this little swing here, but you do have a swing right under here, and your midband is right here. Okay? Anytime they do a thrust like that, then do your little fib in your head, or if you have, draw it either way. I can't usually hit it without at least drawing it. 50% is right here. That's pretty much a swing where that type of a trade like that, I'd look for 50 to 61%. And since midband's at 50, I'd be looking for 50. Everybody see why on that? Because midband, we're looking for a first time in the midband after a trend change. And that would also be basically a little KISS trade if we can get up to this swing where they kind of broke down, or this swing here where they broke down. See, they went straight down, so that's a little tougher one, but I see to the left and to the left. There's two lines. Change that so we can see it better. And then we'll get rid of this. Now, if you want to, though, we'll reverse it because we're short one. If they take out lightning with like a close, we'll try to get 5-10 ticks. It could definitely go deeper, absolutely. But keep in mind, that's also a first time into phantom after a trend change, but it did change the color of the background. So we usually don't pay attention to it as much when it does that. This is actually probably going to be a losing trade, but it is a thrust. That is lightning. We'll see if it works. There's a lot of our traders that trade this particular trade at least to see if it will work. And if quickly it does not work, then get out of it quick. What I would do personally is I'd like to see it break lightning, like so, come back and KISS lightning, and then still head up and check our midband. If it hits lightning, gets us in, and then rolls over, and even takes out this swing here, I would not stay with that trade, because that's your lightning on the other side. Oh, it does work? On that one, Ed? I think we even traded that this morning, didn't we? We called one about 8:30, wasn't it, that we got a short? It's not 8:30 yet, though. But that was probably the one we took at 8 o'clock, wasn't it? Where we shorted it, remember? Well, inventory is 9:30 my time, so we probably wouldn't, be able to show anything on that for a little while because it's only 8:15 by my chart. You did hear those trade calls on inventory today, though. We got that nice move. But anytime they break, you've got to look to the left to trade the right. Okay, we did reverse the trade. Now that is a counter trend trade, so you got to be careful with that trade. What I would personally do would be to put my stop right there. I probably wouldn't reverse it because that's not enough of a trade if it breaks it. I'd probably just take it off the chart. And that would cost us about 7 ticks, so that's going to be about $210. Isn't your safer trade waiting on the retrace? Because we diagnosed the chart a little while ago. Let's get rid of the lightning and let's just see where it's heading. Looking to the left to trade the right, I see a swing right there. Okay, that's also where predictor is saying it is too. I also see a swing. I always look to the left and then I look the closest in price to my left, like this, and then I also look at another level. So between those two areas right there, I'd be looking for a trade. We'll see if we can get it. That would be a good kiss trade to me. And by the way, the ellipses, when you see that it's right at a swing like this, and then you've got another swing over here, see your little thrust retrace, and it kind of jogged up to the top. That's a pretty good swing there too. And remember, the safest trade that you can make after a trend change is at or above midband on a short, okay? Which means that you're not really looking for this trade until it tags midband. Because this little indicator right here is identifying all of this movement and drawing these midbands and all this phantom and stuff like that. Let's see if we can take a trade. Well, we're in the green. It's not doing much, but we're in the green a little bit. Now, usually when I take this trade like this right here, if I'm going to take this, I take it on this bar. Like say you have a bar, and a bar that takes out the third bar. I'd already be in it down here. Because to me, that's also a little box. You don't have to get this big box. It looks like it's going to work anyway. Ed said it did, so I guess it did. Okay, but what are we looking at when we get first time into trend change? We're looking for a kiss trade between those two lines. Now, usually what I do in a case like this is if I go ahead and grab one, I'm going to grab it on a bar close, like so, to reverse. And it's hitting my other area that I want, so it looks like I want to get out of this long trade and see if we can get in a short trade. Mid-band and above. Whoop, not a ray, not a ray, not a ray. There we go. We're going to have to get it a little bit lower. Yeah, I'm on ray. I think we'll be okay because a lot of times they just like to fake you a little bit anyway. So you could box it in also. We did come up to mid-band. And always look to the left to trade the right. See where they're heading. They came all the way down here just a little bit ago. Look to the left and see what they tagged. Basically just around this consolidation patch, right? So where have they not tagged? if they roll over? Well, you had a little thrust, retrace, thrust. So I'd put a line right in through here, and I'd put another one right here at that swing. And these numbered swings are most important, okay, because they worked hard to get there. Is this another ABC? That did do an ABC. It's a sloppy one, but it's still an ABC. See your A, your B, and your C? Okay, that's lightning. If you draw it, you'll see it. Now that makes me a little more nervous when I see this, but obviously your stop's got to be where? It's got to be above the swing. Exit on close. You got to do it, because until that gives a little scalp, where's my lightning swing? Well, it went up on this side, and now it's going down a little bit. So you've got a high, a low, lower, high. Now we need to take out this low, right where my cursor's at. And remember, we had a high energy time. This is our opening of the day. Remember this trade that we actually got in the room? How could you do that trade? Well, like this. Well, we got our target anyway, so we're good to go. We got a nice little shot right out of the gate, right? But where's our lightning on this chart? This is our opening Band-Aid. We're hitting right where I said we would. I'd like to come down to here, obviously, but that's a swing. And this is also the opening Band-Aid. So with an opening Band-Aid, you could actually box it in like this, even. Okay? If you don't want to take a chance at that, then draw a trend line. A lot of our people like trend lines, like so. And if it takes out the little lightning swing like here, you can wait till here, but then you're only looking for here if they go up at all. Remember at the open what you're doing. We already got out of our short trade, so we got to wait for a retrace. See it taking out the swing? Didn't close, so I got a little bit antsy on that one. And sometimes if you do that, you're going to have to pull through the pullback. So I'm going to put my stop just under here, exit on close, like that. Okay? Now, remember this trade? We actually called this at the open, and at the mid-band, now this was an aggressive trade right here. I'll show you how to get in this trade without it being quite so aggressive. A kiss trade, if you will. Hopefully I don't have it going too fast. Everybody see a decent little kiss trade? Got to break above and pull back and kiss. Now keep in mind you'd already be long on this because this is the Band-Aid at the open. But I want to show you how to do a kiss trade too, because we called this in the room. I'm pretty sure we called this in the room because we boxed this little area in, which you could easily do. Like so. And since I don't personally like kiss trades as much, I mean not kiss trades, but breakout trades, see, because for instance, let's just say we buy it right there. It takes out the top of our little deal. What usually happens on breakout trades, they pop up and they pull back. See if it doesn't do just what I said, because they usually do. So what's the safest trade on this? A thrust and a pullback. And I want to show you, let's just look for another trade. See this thrust retrace? If we get a thrust again, where would your kiss trade be? Let's see if we can get it. I'm going to speed this up. Hopefully I can catch this. That's a pretty good little support trade, by the way. Where would we want to do this? Let me show you. We want to break. We want to pull back. Not necessarily that high, just a break and a pullback. If you're not already in it. Okay? Because if you just simply do the break like this, watch it. See, it's breaking. Okay? And a lot of times it just pulls right back into here. And I don't like that kind of a trade. But watch what it will do most times. It'll do a kiss trade. Nice little green. Where do you think it'll pull back into? Right there. Everybody see that kiss trade? That's how you do those kiss trades. You wait for the thrust, you wait for the little pullback. And they happen all the time. You think you can get it again? You want to see where the kiss trade's going to be? Kiss trade would be here, and it wouldn't be any lower than here. See it come down between the two? Buy the thing. Busted back up above resistance too. Okay? That's what happens with kiss trades. They will pull right back, and you've got to think of it as an area, okay? Because, you know, for instance, when this popped up a little bit right here, you knew that this stop was taken out, so that was an identified swing, right? So they can't take it out if they're going to head down. I mean, if they're going to head up, pardon me. Everybody sees that, right? Because in real time this happens. I mean, do you remember a trade on YM this morning? I'll show you one. It was called, and I wasn't particularly fond of the short as much as I was. Let me just show it to you here real quick. All right. What does this trade actually look like right here, by the way? It looks like a long trade, right? Now, to me, looking at this chart, I see a thrust, a retrace, and a thrust. So I draw on my charts. I see a swing, and I see another swing all the way down here. This is my medium swing. So they're going to have to take this out and come back and kiss it for me to go short, at least at this point anyway. All right, so I'm looking for a trade. You did get one at the open. This is just right at the open. All right, and you remember this trade right here? This was actually called short when this broke like this, right here. Okay, so if you got filled right here, where do you think this trade's going to probably hit its head to begin with? Yeah, I might have something short right now. It's a possibility. We probably got something on a chart because I've been doing this replay for a while. But anyway, watch what happens. This particular trade right here, okay, that happens all the time. All right, what is this? You've got a thrust, a retrace, ABC. Okay, now that doesn't mean that you couldn't make a few dollars on this, but what's the overall trend on this chart? Well, to me, until it takes this out, which is a swing, high, low, higher, high, that's what I call like a secondary swing. And watch what they do a lot of times. They barely take it out and then they pop back above it. And this is a trade we've taught for 5-6 years now. This is a red bar probe. And you get in on the first bar that goes back to the upside. Or you can box it in. But keep in mind that sometimes they do just like that. Now we did get this trade also when it took out resistance right here this morning to the upside. You know, Charles had the box drawn. Matter of fact, he had his box drawn just like this, basically like that. Okay, so when it popped back above that resistance, I'm sure he went long and probably even added right through here. Yeah, they're actually, that's exactly right. They're poke bars. They poke so that they can get people going the wrong direction, because the overall trend on this chart was up. It wasn't down. You know, if you draw your lightning, you know, get rid of all the junk on the chart with our template even if you want. Okay, and I'm going to hurry because I know I'm running just a few minutes late. But let's look at this and so that we can look at it pretty much in real time. Get rid of the ellipses. All right, looking at this chart right here, drawing from down here, for instance, let's draw it. Isn't that an uptrend? You know, so where would, obviously, when it came down, see, at the time when you were looking at this in real time, when the market opened at 8:30, if you draw on your charts, you had a line drawn under here and you said, that's my support, that if they break, I'm probably going to be going short, or at least when it breaks and kisses that line. Okay, but what did it do? It came down like that, and that was just into a phantom. But that was still a high, a low, and a higher high. I don't like that short. Now, I'll take them sometimes, but I'll tell you what, when they're bouncing them around so quick, this little trade right here was much better buying at the bottom right here. And look at this predictor even. Down, 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 up, first bar, third bar taken out, off she went. You know, that third bar reversal right there. Put your stop underneath the swing, and as soon as it just started going up, you could even box it in again right here and take another one, you know, and off she went. So don't fall for those quick little moves like this, because what can happen on that, let's say that you get filled on that bar or that bar, and you're thinking, wow, this is going to head down. And what does it do? It goes down a bar, up a bar. If you got in right there, you didn't make 5 ticks. If you got in right here, you might have made 7 or 8. Everybody see what I mean? But where was the trade? You had a high, you had a low, you had a much higher high up here, and this is your identified swing on a medium trend. And if you draw it, you know, we had it black just a minute ago, but if you draw it, you'll see a high, a low, and a higher high. That low was never taken out. And so what did they do? They went up. Okay? Kenneth, I can get you that template. I can even put it on the website tomorrow if y'all want. The template is real easy to make, but I'll go ahead and just make it available. Thanks everyone for coming. I hope KISS trades made a difference. Always remember that you got the little micro trend, you got the secondary trend, you got the medium trend, which is the most important one. Okay? Because if you go against the medium trend, be sure that if you're going against a trend, you're not thinking that, for instance, if you shorted this like way up here, you're not thinking you're going all the way down here. You're doing this lightning dance up at the time, right? So try not to trade against those trends. They're pretty hot and salty. See there? Starts breaking. Where's our swing right here even? It's right there. You know, did they take it out yet? Nope. So see, you're still looking longs. I can show the indicator list, sure. And then we'll go ahead and wrap. Oh, on the webinar one. The webinar one, what I actually do is just simply put lightning 1, 2, 3, and 4. You'll probably want to change the colors a little bit. I do on this particular one so that they're nice and like cyan on my lines, and maybe, you know, a rose, a thistle or something. Change them where they're nice and bright, because on a black background, they're not going to be quite as easy to see if you go with navy blue, obviously. So just pick some nice colors on your trend lines, like that, and like that. And then just simply put toolbar and predictor. That's it. You can put power meter on there. I don't have it on here, but just simply go down to power meter, power display, double click it. You'll have a font very soon, by the way, on yours too. And then just put it on your chart. And there's your power meter. And then click your F button. I usually get rid of predictor so I can kind of see what's going on. But does that look like a downtrend to anyone? So why would you be shorting here for 5 or 6 ticks when it went up 80? Okay, or 60, maybe even more. All right, thanks everyone for coming. Try to make KISS trades a part of your repertoire, and also the predictors are really, really good. And next week we'll talk about the last 3 on the safe trades. I think it's good to take almost an hour just to show the different examples of them, because as a rule they'll work, especially if you draw on your charts. All right, thanks everyone. Have a good one.